Hey everyone, welcome back to the Triathlon Weekly News. This week's going to be a quicker episode as we go over Oceanside 70.3 and all that transpired at that race and what's transpired since. So thank you guys as always for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Before we get into it, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who joined in for the live watch along. I had a ton of fun doing it. The chat was really busy and we had a lot of fun discussing all things triathlon while Outside Watch wasn't working during the race. If you guys are looking for a place to come hang out and have a chat as Outside doesn't have one available, perfect spot to come hang out and get involved with the community. I hope to make them a lot better in the future with having guests on and maybe some pro triathletes that are willing to come on and talk with me. So make sure you stay tuned for that in the future. But let's dive right into the women's race. And oh my goodness, Holly Lawrence took off like mad on the swim. She got a good gap and came into T1 over a minute and a half ahead of the others, which included the likes of Chelsea Sodaro, Kat Matthews, Paula Findlay, and unfortunately for those women, it included Tamara Jewett, who had the swim of her life. But that wasn't the only good thing Tamara Jewett was going to do this day, as she managed to keep up on the bike like we've never seen her do before. She almost did everything right on the day, but on that bike leg, she actually picked up a blocking penalty. And now this has caused a little bit of controversy. I heard Pro Tri News discuss it a little bit more at length, and basically she went to overtake the group of women, and after trying to pass Kat Matthews, wasn't able to complete the full pass and dropped to the back of the pack. Now, the controversy there is, was this a blocking penalty? If she comes up to the left of a rider and blocks their ability to make a pass themselves and then drops back, now that's a blocking penalty. But if she's entered the draft zone while trying to overtake and then doesn't complete the pass, that is considered drafting. So it could have been a 5-minute penalty for her. I would love for Ironman to clarify this a little bit more. Tell us what happened. Tell us what's the real big difference there and why they're so closely related. But thankfully for her and for the rest of us, it wasn't a 5-minute penalty. I don't think there ever should be a 5-minute penalty in any race, in my opinion, because from the moment she came into T2 and finished serving her penalty, she was off like a bullet and in fact set the fastest ever 70.3 female run split, where she outran 83% of the men and just so many other stats that are mind-blowing. And she went home for the victory ahead of the Ironman world champion Chelsea Sodaro, who had a fantastic all-around race herself. And Tamara, in my opinion, really was deserving of winning the poll I put up on my Instagram of the performance of the day out of all the racing that took place, including the men's. I said it before when I made a quick video about her being the one to watch for 2023. She's got huge potential. She's going to race the PTO Tour as well as the 70.3 World Championships. So we'll see lots of her. What do you guys think? Will she compete against the best at the middle distance right now, which includes Taylor Knibb and Ashley Gentle? How do you think she'll do going forward in the rest of this season? But Kat Matthews had a close second, in my opinion, with a ridiculous third place, outrunning Holly Lawrence, for example, there to take the podium. I think she's got huge things to come. She's probably way ahead of schedule than she thought she'd be, and she looked like she was having a lot of fun out there. A little bit of controversy was when she was chatting with Holly in T2. Some people thought there was a little bit of beef there, but Mark Matthews cleared that up, saying it was just a bit of fun. So nothing serious there, but fantastic performance from her. And then on the men's race, wow, this one was really close. Leo Berger led out the swim with the likes of Ben Canoe, and the bike leg seemed absolutely blistering as Ben Canoe tried to shake the likes of Jason West, who made that front swim pack, but wasn't able to do so. We saw him getting frustrated and wanting people to take some turns on the front, but it seemed like nobody was really willing to help him out as Sam Long and Jackson Laundrie came storming back to that front lead group. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't actually get away either. And so it looked like it was going to come down to a big run race. But what was a big advantage for them was towards the end of that bike ride, Jason West wasn't able to hang on to the pace that Sam Long was setting. So he came into T2 quite a bit behind. Now, Leo Berger is not the man you want starting the beginning of a run race. However, he did have COVID upon arriving to the US, so we weren't sure how he'd do. But he proved that he is the world champion in short course for a reason, as he came home and took the win in style. But Jason West was hunting him down with a ridiculous 1:07 half marathon, and he was just 12 seconds short of the victory. Leo was like an animal being hunted down out there, he said, and was holding on for his dear life. Jason has clearly improved to the next level this year, and I think he's a big threat going forward. But I wanted to ask you guys what you think of Leo Bergère, what a top class athlete he is. How well would he rank, as the PTO asked themselves, if he raced 3 PTO events this year, or 3 long distance events? How well do you think he'd rank amongst the top athletes? And also a big question that I've heard, and a bit of controversy as well, around Jan Frodeno pulling out. Some people have said he wasn't actually sick and this was a tactical withdrawal. Some people said he couldn't have beat Leo Bergère. So what do you guys think? If Jan was there, could he have beaten Leo? Could he have kept up with Jason West on the run? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think there's too much business around Jan for him to just pull out from a fake sickness like that. So my guess is it was legit, it was an actual virus, and it's good to see if that's the case, that he's back on the horse and riding and training again. Some other notable points from the men's race was that Sam Long really did blow up on that run, finishing quite a bit behind in the end. He's obviously not where he wants to be at this stage of the season. He's got a long season ahead of him. And Jackson Laundrie took 3rd place. The defending champion managed to round out that podium with Ben Canute hanging on for 4th. He obviously did a lot of work at the front of that race and paid for it a little bit on the run. The PTO points haven't been released quite yet for the race. They usually do that on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But from what we've added up so far, it looks like Tamara moves up to 15th place, and everyone else pretty much moves up 1 place, as Taylor Knibb will drop way down into the rankings to 84th place, because don't forget the PTO revolves around a 52-week system where your race results only last for that amount of time. So not great for her in the moment, but thankfully, as far as like PTO Ibiza goes and the rankings for that, those were finalized last week before Oceanside, and they're going to wait, I believe, 1 more week before announcing those start lists and hopefully some course maps for us to check. Okay, to go back to that outside watch coverage, I read an article this week that I thought you guys might find interesting. I've linked it in the description, and it basically is an interview with the PTO and discussing how the PTO Tour has gone so far and what they're looking to do in the future. And one of the things they said is they love to improve their broadcast for this year and going forward in the future, hoping to have more of an experience for us viewers and hoping to have more live interactive material on screen for us to watch. So they're definitely going to compete with Ironman in this regard, as Outside didn't do so great this weekend. Thankfully, Ironman has their own broadcasts that they will be doing, and we'll see that first up before PTO and Ironman Texas. What do you guys think about the PTO race upcoming? I've heard lots of talk about it, lots of talk that the pros aren't going to go to that race. They're going to choose to go to the long distance world champs like Joe Skipper is, or just go to the race in St. George. So PTO picked a hard weekend to compete against these other organizations. I'm really interested to see who decides to go. And the Oceanside race does shake up a few things as far as the wild cards go. I want to see who's going to get one. It's going to be 26 racers automatically qualified, and those who don't choose to go, it'll be rolled down to the top 50, and then 4 wild card slots. So excited to hear that news, hopefully coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys updated. But going back to Ironman Texas and watching that on ironman.com/live, the start list was just announced and it looks pretty good. Not as good as I thought it would be for a $100,000 prize purse, but you see the names listed on there. On the women's side, Kat Matthews, definitely the highlight name there. And on the men's side, we're looking at Matt Hansen, Chris Leiferman, who seems to have just gotten out of surgery, so not sure he'll be racing there. Joe Skipper is on there, but we're just waiting to see with his baby on the way whether he'll actually be competing. Cody Beals as well, and a few other good names there. But also, which is always really funny to me, Cameron Worth is always on every single Ironman start list. He's down there on the bottom. I really doubt he'll be racing, but we'll have to wait and see. And then around the same time is Challenge Gran Canaria. I brought this one up again last week, so I'm not going to bring it up too much more, but great names on there. Sam Laidlow, Patrick Langa. We've got Ruth Astle, India Lee on the women's side. I wish Jan will race at that one, but looks like he's sticking to PTO Ibiza. Furthermore, we've got Gwen Jorgensen going to be racing. Katie Severas coming up in Missouri at the America's Triathlon Cup. So that's great to see that she's already got back on the schedule for another race, another chance to earn her some more World Triathlon points to get into the bigger races. Everyone's going to want to see how these two mothers compete against each other, as they're going to be both looking for the Olympic qualifying spots. It should be a great field for them, as it's not so stacked. They should be right at the front, so hopefully we get to see them head to head in that race. Can't wait to hear what happens there. However, the big one coming up this weekend is Arena Games London. I even saw Super League advertising this on one of England's big football stadiums, so they really are trying to sell this race out. It's going to be epic. There's some huge names on there. On the men's side, we've got all the previous winners from the races, including Chase McQueen, Henry Schumann. It was looking a little bit bigger with the likes of Alex Yee and Jonathan Brownlee on there. However, they are no longer on the start list. But Gustav Iden is definitely the headline there to watch for. So glad this will be streamed live. What do you guys think? How is Gustav going to do? His short course career hasn't been going so well so far since he's returned to it, and now he's going even shorter. However, I do know this man loves to Zwift, and that can be a big advantage at these races. And if he does win, remember Super League is connected to World Triathlon, so he'll pick up some important World Triathlon points there to get into some more races, which should help him out. But is he going to be able to compete with the likes of Henry Schumann? We'll just have to wait and see. Well worth the watch. On the women's side, Beth Potter is the standout name there. It'll be hard to see anybody keep competing against her, but we saw Gina Serino, for example, at the Montreal Arena Games do so well. So I'd love to see her take on Beth, and it's going to be an exciting one to watch nonetheless. Make sure you tune in for that one. I'll be watching, so make sure you hop in the Daily Tri Discord and chat with me during that race. And then finally, to wrap up this week's news, I just wanted to share with you guys the article of the week, which this week is going to be 220 Triathlon's article on the Race Ranger and everything they've gone through to bring this to reality and bring it to fruition. And it looks like such a successful product right now, and it's going to be one for the future. So make sure you check that out. Finally, the video of the week. This one was a real toss-up. I just watched Sam Laidlow's video from the PTO. It's fantastically made, as always, by the PTO. Sam is a great character for the sport, but this one and this week I'm giving it to Sebastian Kienle and his most recent episode. It was so beautifully made. It was the perfect thing to watch on a Sunday night for me. It had the best storytelling of any of his episodes, and it goes over his whole trip to New Zealand and everything he's faced during that time. Can't wait to see more of Sebi and this discontinued tour. I think it's fantastic he's doing this and making a documentary out of it. I think we were robbed out of Sebi more than anyone during the COVID era. To me, that would have been his peak racing, and I think we could have seen maybe another world title out of him. So great to see him finishing out his career like this in style. Make sure you guys check that one out and let me know what you think. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Quick episode here, quick recap. I'm headed to work, so I just had to fit this in real quick. Thank you guys so much every week for coming along. I wanted to make sure this is consistent, up every week. Any feedback is welcome as always, and hope you have a great week. Hope you're all training hard and getting ready for the season ahead. Thank you so much. Have a good one.